Come to standing. Today's class is going to be gentle but quite profound, if that makes sense, just to ground everybody from everything that's been going on. So breathing in, I'm raising my right arm, but raise one arm and just gently use your other hand to support you as you come over to the side. Breathing in, come to the centre and lower your arm. And then breathing in, raise the other arm, come over. Use your arm for support as you come up and lower your arm. Lift and roll your shoulders. Raise both arms. Clasp, reverse your palms upwards. Press your feet down. Stretch up. Breathing out, go to one side. Breathe in, come to the centre. Breathe out, go to the other side. Breathe in, come to the centre. Breathe out, turn a little bit to one side. Breathe in, come to the centre. Breathe out, turn a little bit to the other side. And breathe to come to the centre. While you've still got your arms up, just lift your heels and test your balance, which also reflects the state of your mind. And then breathing out, lower your feet, lower your hands to shoulder height. Breathe out, turn to look beyond one hand. Come to the centre. And breathe to turn and look beyond the other hand, the fingers of that hand. Come to the centre. Lower your hands and lift and roll your shoulders. Step your feet hip width apart. Put your hands on your waist. Bend your knees and just bring your bottom back away from you. Or turn to the side and you can see that. And you'll feel your abdominal muscles contract. If you want to make that slightly more, bring your hands together at the heart centre and press your palms together. Head looks down so that the back of the neck is long. Press your feet into the ground as you come to standing and release your hands. Come to the centre. And breathing in as you turn your head to the left. Breathing out as you bring your head through the centre to the right. Breathing in as you turn your head to the left. And breathing out as you turn your head to the right. And repeat a couple of more times in your own breath pattern. This not only looks at the neck, but looks at the brain hemispheres and balancing of the thyroid. And then very gently come back to the centre of your head. Inhale, exhale, hands together at the heart. Inhale, hands up, touch your palms. And breathing out, bring your palms together through the centre as you bend your knees, coming either to the floor with your fingertips or place your hands on your shins, wherever you feel comfortable. When you're there, breathe in and lengthen from the base of your tailbone to the top of the head. Breathe out, bend your knees, bend your elbows. Press your feet into the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. You can use your hands to trace along the front of your body. And breathing in, raising your hands. Breathing out, lower your hands. And again, inhale, exhale, hands together at the heart centre. Breathing in, circle your hands up, palms together. Breathing out, bring your palms through the centre of your body and start to bend your knees as you come once more to touching your fingers on the ground or on your shins. Once you're there, breathing in and extend your legs slightly as you extend your spine. Breathing out, soften your knees and soften your elbows. And then breathing in, press your feet to the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra, hands up. Breathing out, hands down. Bring your hands to the heart center and then take your time to come back to the mat in a seated position, cross-legged position, just for a very short time. So come to a comfortable cross-legged position to suit you. Hands either on your knees or just below your knees to hold you. Just lengthen your spine as you breathe in, and then as you breathe out, round your spine, your chin comes to your chest. Breathing in, sitting up, lengthen your spine. And breathing out, round, your chin comes to your chest. Your hands are supporting you as you lift up. Breathing out. As you round, your chin naturally tucks towards your chest, and this activates the vagus nerve. Carry on in your own time. The vagus nerve activated here decreases any inflammation, and inflammation is what you want to bring down, particularly at this time of year, which is so, generally anyway, worst time for health, and according to our climate, damp and cold. There's an increase of the winter element and mucus and just damp and generally yuck. Just carry on. You're very gently warming through the spine, and the spine connects to every organ really. It's your central part of your body. If you would seek health, look first to the spine, and then coming to a neutral position. Come to however you want, just touching your hands maybe either side of you, but we're going to come to kneeling in tabletop position, and we're going to repeat that oscillating movement of the spine on our hands and knees. So hands are shoulder height apart, shoulder width apart. Your thumb and second finger are really pressing down into the ground, and your fingers are spread. Your knees are hip width apart. And just gently start by swaying your bottom from side to side. As you sway from side to side, you can, it's difficult to describe, but you can bring your bottom more up to the right, which stretches the side, with your shoulder up to the right, and then come back to neutral, and then bringing your left hip sort of forward and your left shoulder forward to stretch your left side. I hope that makes sense to you. So I'm stretching my right hip slightly forward, and my right shoulder comes forward, and that stretches my right side, and then back. And then come to the centre as we come to classic cat-cow. Breathing in, dipping your back, looking either up or along the mat, that depends on your neck. Breathing out, rounding chin comes to chest. Breathing in, dipping your back, cat. And breathing out, rounding. And then carry on using your own breath pattern to determine your movement. Coming to cat and cow. Again, you're mobilizing your spine, you're beginning to warm the body up. Particularly again on a day like today where it's quite cold and damp, it's good to gently warm the body up. And then coming back to neutral. Keep your bottom high, so keep that length from knees to hip. And start to walk your hands out in front of you. So it becomes puppy. Elbows are on the ground. And just release and relax. You can move your bottom slightly, but actually you can just release, stay central, and feel the movement, or feel the stretch rather, in your upper back. Take a couple of breaths here. And then just carry on to come to lying on the mat in Sphinx pose. So feel that you're comfortable, your elbows are in front of you. Adjust so that you feel absolutely comfortable. And when you do, press your elbows into the ground to almost move yourself forward, only a millimetre or two, and then just relax. Look at the floor this time, because your neck, the back of the neck is long. And then come down even further to lying. Bend your elbows out to the side and place one hand on top of the other. Your head can be straight down, or you can turn your head to the side. Get your knees, move them a little bit further apart, and then bend your soles of your feet to the ceiling. And just sway gently from side to side, so you're mimicking a windscreen wiper movement. Come to centre, and you can come slightly, either stay where you are or come slightly up on your elbows. Roll slightly to one side to hold one ankle, and just hold your ankle, your heel comes towards your bottom. Your other leg can be flat on the ground, or you can keep it up, your choice. Come back to the centre, come to the other side, slightly shift, I'm shifting slightly to my left. I can actually hold my head as well if I want to. Just be comfortable. Bend your right knee or your other knee and hold your ankle, and just bring your foot towards your bottom. And feel the stretch at the front of the leg. That's part of your lymph system, your immune system, where the white blood cells are manufactured in the long thigh bone. And then come back to the centre, roll back onto your tummy, slide your hands back, elbows in as you come up to kneeling, and then come to tuck your toes, and very, very gently, as you tuck your toes, we're going to come up to standing. So I'm moving my hands back to my knees, tummy comes in, perineum engages, come to press with your hands and roll up vertebra by vertebra, very slowly to standing. Walk your hands up your legs if you need to for support. Lift and roll your shoulders. And come to feet hip width apart, go from side to side. Moving through all 5 energies, keeping the flow of movement and health as the ancient or Eastern belief system working and movement through your body, avoiding any stagnation. And then gently slow down and come to the centre. Just adjust your pose to be comfortable. And imagine looking forward centrally to a clock. You don't have to keep your hand there, you can if you want to. Keeping your head still, look up with your eyes towards your 12 o'clock. Coming through the centre, look down towards your 6 o'clock. Come back to the centre and go to your right, your 3 o'clock. And coming through the centre of your imaginary clock, look left to your 9 o'clock. And then look up to 10 past the hour, through to 22 the hour, and come back to centre. Look at 10 to the hour, through the centre to 20 past. And then coming back to the centre with your eyes, gently move both eyes to the left, come to the centre and both eyes move to the right. Come to the centre and repeat that a few more times, left and right. If you do this quite rapidly, you very quickly come into an area of science I don't know a lot about, but my understanding is that it's REM eye movement that connects very much to post-traumatic stress training, where people disconnect through moving their eyes from the stress centre of their brain or the trauma that they are flashing back to. And it's being used in the States as part of formal training for post-traumatic stress training. Very much comes from yoga. Come to the centre, your eyes have moved a lot, so rub your hands and place the palms of your hands over your closed eyes and then open your eyes into the darkness of your hands, palming. You've got a lot of electrical points, nadis in your hands, so it's very soothing, and then bring your hands back down alongside you. Raise your hands up, hands together, coming through the centre, swan dive. Breathing in, lengthen along your spine. And as you breathe out, bend your knees. If you're not turned towards the centre of the mat, I'm sorry about that, but turn towards the centre of your mat. And slide your right leg, right foot back. Just explore the stretch. And then slide your left foot back. So you're once more in tabletop. Slide your right foot back. Toes are tucked under, your heel of your right leg is up. And then move your right foot over your left. And then turn to look over your left shoulder, and you might see your right foot. So gentle stretch. Come back to the centre. Uncross your ankles. And then slide your left leg back. Your left leg is off the mat. Your left toes are tucked under. Cross your left ankle or foot over the right. And turn to look over your right shoulder so that you might see your left foot. And you're stretching out your left side. And then come back, uncross your feet. You're back in tabletop. And then hands go to the left, right foot slides up. Just place your hands either side of your right foot. You can let your knee come, because you're supporting your upper body weight, beyond the 90 degrees. But now to do any work, bring your right knee back to a 90-degree angle. Keep your left hand where it is. And just place your right hand on your right waist. As you open up to the right, feel that your neck is long still. Your right shoulder opens up like a shell, opening its shell outwards to the right. You can stay here, or you can raise your right arm up, that's optional. And either with arm up or down, you can optionally too tuck your left toes under, lift up your left leg, stretching your left leg back, and either keeping your right hand on your right waist or raising your right hand up in a twist. Quite strong. Come back down. Kneel with your left knee onto the ground. Untuck your left toes. Walk your hands up to your right knee. And then carry on with your hands upwards. If you find that you're wobbling a little bit, you can always move your right foot out to the right. And then lower your hands and open your palms upwards, looking up in a moon salute. Coming back to this idea of releasing stress as your eyes look upward. Bring your head centre, bring your hands either side of your right foot and slide your right leg back. As you bring your hands to the right, this gives space for your left foot to come up, hands either side of your left foot, and just allow your left knee to go over the 90-degree angle as you're supporting your upper body weight. And then come back. And pressing down with your feet and your hands. Keep your right hand where it is, your left hand in the crease of your hip, open out to the left. You can stay here or bring your left arm up, or you can either with arm up or down, tuck your right toes underneath, lift up your right leg, straighten it, or keep it soft but straightened, and then open your left arm up or left hand on your left waist. If your hand's on the waist, just think of bringing your left hip slightly back and then lowering, hands either side of your leg, your left foot, lower your right knee, and then perhaps untuck your toes as you walk your hands up your left leg, coming to raising your hands, looking either up or straight ahead. If your balance is wobbling, move your left foot out to the left, and then lowering your hands, opening your palms upwards towards the ceiling, and raising your eyes, if that's possible, upwards, if not, look ahead, coming back to this releasing stress. And then breathing out, bring your hands either side of your front left foot and slide back so that you're back once more into tabletop. And then bring your big toes together and your knees out as you bring your bottom back towards your heels and come into extended child's pose. Just walking your hands out in front of you. If that's a bit much, then just lift your bottom up to release that squashing or squishing down. Just coming forward in a forward bend. And then basically walking your hands back to your knees and bringing your bottom to the side to come into a seated position, and come to have your legs stretched out in front of you. Hands either side of you. You might like to lift the flesh out from under your bottom. And then just bounce your knees, bounce your legs. As you circle your ankles in one direction. And then very gently circle your ankles in the other direction. Stretch your toes out and relax them. And then both feet go to one side and then both feet go to the other side. So you're swaying your feet in mimicking that windscreen wiper action, but going to your ankles. And this looks at moving your ankles in an invert-evert movement slightly differently than your normal movement. And then either tap or rub your legs all the way up and down. So this is almost the equivalent to dry skin brushing. So it's boosting your circulation. We're going to keep it to the legs today, but you don't have to confine it to your legs. You can come to all over your body as well, but they'll just keep it to the legs. And then come to open your legs in a V. So comfortably in a V, enough that you feel the stretch along the inside of the legs. Just touch your hands to either side of your legs to lengthen your spine. Raise your hands up. Hold your thumbs to just secure you and turn towards your right leg. Either come straight down, but for back issues, bend your elbows and slide your hands down the front of your right leg, holding on the shin as you take a couple of breaths in and out. And sense that you slightly press either on the floor or just lengthen or on your shin to lengthen your body and then come forward. And you can stay here, or you can just walk your hands down a little bit further, holding either side of your foot, or you can take your left hand to the outside of your right foot, right hand behind you, so it becomes a stronger stretch forward. You're looking at down the floor behind you towards your right hand. And then gently come up by walking your left hand up your right leg. Coming back to the centre, lengthening your spine. Raising your hands upwards again, just hold your thumbs. Turn towards your left leg. Toes are up, by the way, to the ceiling. And then coming forward as you slide your hands down your left leg. So the legs open give space at the inner groin, which connects in again to part of your immune system at the lower level. Coming forward like this is always calming for the nervous system. And here the chin tucks to the chest naturally, so again that's anti-inflammatory. And you can either stay here or slide your right hand to the outside of your left foot, or hold your left foot either side, and maybe left hand behind you to look back towards the left. And then just slightly perineum in and tummy in as you slide your hands up, hands either side of you. And then bend your both knees, supporting them underneath of your hands, and come to bring your toes, your soles of your feet together in a form of Baddha Konasana or band angle pose or cobbler's pose, and just come forward. This is a modification. Take your thumbs and just massage the soles of your feet. Up towards the top, the big toe bit is your solar plexus, represented in reflexology, and your body, your feet represent your body. And then coming back down through the middle is more your stomach and intestines, and then going right the way down to the base before your heels, your large intestine, colon area, and just massage. And if you want to focus on your lymph system, take your fingers to the tops of your feet, and in between the little bones of the feet, where your where your lymph is represented on your feet. So just stroke down on the top of the feet. And just generally massage. You can take your thumbs massaging over your ankle. Your ankle is what they call a marble point. So it links into, again, energy meridians that pass through the ankle area. And then sliding your hands up to underneath your thighs, knees together. If you want to test your core, walk your feet back, hold under your knees, and just lift your feet off the ground. Now, my core strength's not great, so I might stay here. If you want to completely explore further, have your feet higher. And for those of you who are super strong, you can lift your hands apart. That strains my lower back, but just up to you. And then when you've had enough, just bring your feet back down to the ground and hug your right knee into your chest. Sit up straight and hold your right knee more with your left hand now as you bring your right hand behind you. Lengthen in your spine and turn to look over your right shoulder. Your left leg is extended and your left toes are up. Just take an in and an out breath. Come back to the centre, hugging your right knee in again, and then just extend your right leg along the ground as you transfer your attention to your left leg, hugging your left knee into your chest, straightening your spine. Hold your left knee with your right hand, and your left hand goes behind you, pressing down with your left hand, lengthening your spine and breathing out. Turn to look over your left shoulder. The turn doesn't have to be very great. In fact, the head's really the last thing to turn. So any rotation or twist works on your digestive system, your digestive enzymes, your health of your digestive system, which is viewed as very key in the Chinese world, certainly. And then come back to the centre. Hug your left knee back into your chest again, and just straighten out your left leg. So both legs are in front of you, toes up, and then just slide your hands down to settle on your shins. It's a straightforward, modified forward bend. Just take a couple of breaths here. You're not aiming to come very far forward. If you want to particularly come forward and hold your big toes, then you're very welcome to do so. But just be relaxed and comfortable for a couple of breaths. And then gently slide your hands up, bend your knees. And we're going to come now to lying on our backs. Knees bent, feet are hip width apart. And hands rest on the abdomen, elbows out, which gives space for your lungs. Cross your right leg over your left and just sway both knees from side to side. Then lift your left foot off the ground. Take your hands and slide them down your legs, your shins, to hold just above the ankles. So my left hand was on my right shin and my right hand was on my left shin. And as you just pull your shins in towards you, you'll feel the stretch on the outer part of your hips, but in particular the right outer hip. So this is your little piriformis muscle that's very much implicated in lower back problems. And just take an in and an out breath here. To feel this more, you can lift your lower left leg, your left knee up to feel the stretch more on your outer right hip. And then just gently unravel your legs. Bring both feet to the ground. Hands back on the abdomen as you sway both knees from side to side and your hips can lift. And then cross your left leg over your right. Just sway both knees once more from side to side. This massages across your top of your bottom, really, the lower back. Your hips can lift. And then perineum engages and lower abdomen muscles slightly just bring in to allow you to lift both legs off the ground, or your right leg off the ground, and take your hands to slide down your shins to your ankles, as you did before on the other side, hugging into your chest, and feel the stretch now. It will be more on the left outer hip. So this is like an alternative version of pigeon or lying pigeon, where you're just opening up on the hips. The hips, both inner and outer, we've looked at inner hips by opening our groin in Baddha Konasana, but the outer hips also are part of the hip picture. And on everyday normal movement doesn't necessarily include movement, complete movement at the hip level. And then just release. Let your feet, that right foot go to the floor, unravel your left foot. And then hug both knees into the chest. With the knees hugged into the chest, open your knees into a little V. And then start to circle the knees in the open V in one direction. So this really is going around the hip rotation, but very gently. And then very gently reverse that little circle. Circling your knees in the opposite direction. And then slide your hands down your shins to hold under the soles of your feet into a happy baby pose. If that's all too much, then do a half happy baby, which is putting one foot to the ground and the other foot up. But if you are happy to do total happy baby, then you're holding your soles of your feet. And you can stay static or just gently rock from side to side. So again, this is on the hip, that general hip opening, pelvis, pelvic area. It encourages blood flow back to that area and works on the apana energy at the lower abdominal level. So all these poses are very good for releasing and also releasing physically sort of any constipation in lower. People with lower backs, often their lower digestive system slugs up. And then you can carry on either by holding the backs of your legs to raise your feet up, or hold your big toes and open in a V, depends on where you are. If you want to hold the backs of your legs, please do. You can just sway from side to side. As I said, if you want to hold your big toes, that's also good. As we come now into a really simple, this is a simple inversion. So reversing your blood flow, and if you stayed here long enough, like legs up the wall maybe, you would start to rebalance your endocrine system. And then very gently bring your legs together, hug your knees into your chest. And this time hold both knees sent into your chest, and your knees, two knees move as one. So you just very, very gently circle both knees in the same direction with them holding together. And that massages really at the base of your spine, not the tailbone, the base of the spine, and then just both knees move very subtly. You're only moving around like a 50p piece size. You can feel the blood just flowing through that lower back area around your spine. And then supporting your legs as you place one foot and then the other foot back down onto the ground again. Palms down beside you. Hold the mat with your hands, so your thumbs are on top, your hands are underneath, and with your thumbs you're pulling your thumbs or aiming your thumbs towards the soles of towards your heels, towards your feet. I'm actually lifting my mat off the ground. I'm really holding the mat with my thumbs and my fingers. And then from there, keep that hold as you lift your back up slightly into a bridge pose. It can be a tiny bridge, a baby bridge, or it can be a slightly higher bridge. As you lift up, your chin goes into your chest and your shoulders go away from your ears. And then start to breathe out as you lower your back down to the ground very gently, like a string of pearls, laying each pearl down onto the mat. And once you've got back down, take an in and an out breath. Keep your legs, feet and knees where they are. Release your grip from the mat with your hands. Bend your elbows, raise them above your head and hold loosely either your elbows or somewhere along your forearms or maybe your wrists. Your arms are behind you. So this becomes a back bend, which is very uplifting for the mood, lifting you at the sternum and stretching out under your arms. That's the upper lymph system. Just take a couple of breaths here. Breathing out, lower your elbows back down alongside you. And then the one part of the body we've not particularly looked at is the third eye. So take either your left or your right hand, the pads of your flat of your third and your pads of your fingers, and just very, very gently make a little circle around the middle of your forehead. That's your third eye, connecting in and activating the pineal gland. And then take both fingers from the third eye just to your temples and just press or circle into your temple area, either side, exactly above your eye, that little dip. And then finally, just take both hands, hold the top of your head, slide or clasp your fingers and slide them under your head so that you're lifting your head up slightly, supporting your head. Bring your elbows towards each other so that your chin's to your chest. And you can just rock from side to side, moving one elbow from side to side. One elbow is going down, the other one's going up, so that you're just supporting your head and moving your neck. And then very gently release your head back down to the mat. Slide your hands underneath. Come to sliding your legs out in Shavasana only for a moment or two as we bring our attention to our feet. Tense your feet and release and relax. Tense your knees and release and relax. Tense your bottom and release and relax. Tense your hands, your arms, shoulders and release and relax. Lift your chest up off the floor and release your chest back down to the mat again. And then lift your shoulders up towards your ears and then lower your shoulders down away from your ears. Turn your head from side to side. Have a thought for the day, something for you or someone close to you, and repeat that in your mind a couple of times. And now wrap yourself in lovely, soft, fluffy cotton wool of your choice, colour of cotton wool, to wrap you up and protect you. Only positive things can come in today, nothing negative. So wrapped in your bubble of cotton wool, your thoughts set for the day, your intention set for the day, and protection for the day ahead against anything, for only positive things. You can either stay here, relaxing on the mat, or if you want to join me to come to the end of the class, then just circle your ankles a couple of times, once more in one and then the other direction. Perhaps circle your hands, leaving your elbows on the ground, circling your wrists one way, and then the other way, opening and closing your hands, your fingers. And then hug one knee and then the other knee into the chest. Yogic-wise, you would roll to the right away from your heart and take your time to come up to a seated position. But you can also come up very gently by rocking up, which is a non-yogic way, but take your time to come very gently to a seated position. And bring your hands to your heart, taking a bow for yourself for the day ahead. And thank you everyone very much for joining me.